change. Down the road, Chennedy Carter may be looking back at this moment herself and saying, this was the best thing for me because it caused me to make some changes or get some. Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. I want to give my commentary on the news that Chennedy Carter signed with the team in Mexico. Now, we've talked about Chennedy a few times here on the show. I've been very upfront about my thoughts concerning her being on a team. At first, the conversation from some was about her being a part of the Indiana Fever. And then people begin to talk about, wow, somebody should sign her. Anybody should sign her because she's such a great basketball player, people often say. And I've said many times that that really is neither here nor there in this situation. I'm going to give more of my thoughts about it all. But let's go over to Athlon Sports and the reporting that outlet did on this. The headline Athlon Sports chose to go with is former Chicago Sky star lands job outside the WNBA after Caitlin Clark incident. Now, I disagree with the way this headline is phrased. I mean, it was after, in the sense that what happened last year was before what happened this year, and what happened this year is after what happened last year. But I disagree with the way it's phrased, because it's phrased in a way to suggest that it was because of what happened with Caitlin Clark that Chennedy Carter has now signed with another team outside the WNBA, when in fact there were many things that happened before the incident with Caitlin Clark and things that happened after the incident with Caitlin Clark. But this makes it seem like it's one is a direct result of the other. And I don't believe that's the case. It's a combination of many things before and after she body checked Caitlin. So here on Athlon Sports, it says that during the 2024 WNBA season, guard Chennedy Carter emerged as a key player for the Chicago Sky, leading the team in scoring with 17.5 points per game, a career high. And then it goes on to talk about this incident involving Caitlin, which stood out to many. And it says the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year came into the league and became arguably the most popular player, which may have rubbed some the wrong way, including Carter. Okay, so whatever the reason is that Chennedy did what Chennedy did it to Caitlin. But it wasn't the first time Chennedy found herself in situations. But we'll go down here and we'll get back to that. Then it says, fast forward to Friday, Carter, who saw her one-year deal with the Sky come to an end following the season, has yet to sign with the WNBA team. With training camp right around the corner, Carter has elected to join a different league while she awaits another shot at the WNBA. Carter has taken her talents to the Mexican Liga Nacional de Baloncesto, Cesto Profesional Femini, LNBPF, where she has signed with Adelitas de Chihuahua in Mexico. And it says Adelitas de Chihuahua was one of the top teams during the 2024 season, securing the best regular season record. And the team made it all the way to the finals, but blew a 2-0 lead to finish the season just short of a title. Adelitas de Chihuahua announced Carter's signing on Instagram, highlighting numerous achievements from her professional basketball career. And you can see that post, that graphic right there. There it says, Bienvenida, Chennedy. So welcome, Chennedy Carter. And the post was in Spanish. It gives a little bit of her background information, where she was selected in the draft in 2020. And then it says, Carter es extremadamente talentosa y una jugadora que puede impactar el juego al más alto nivel en cualquier equipo. So, loosely speaking, this is saying that she's extremely talented and a player who can impact the team. Bienvenida a Chihuahua, Chennedy. I know they are welcoming Chennedy to the team. So let's address some of those things I talked about. Chennedy Carter has a history of getting in trouble at teams, that with teams saying we can't have you here anymore because they feel like she's a threat to the players, threatening other players allegedly, getting kicked off of teams. I don't want to relive all that, but I just want to say there were problems before. There was the Caitlin Clark incident. Then after that, there was the Marina Mabry incident, which might even have been even worse. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. That hit to the face, with Mabry being down for quite a while there. Not cool. And then the problems with the Chicago Sky, whatever the reason behind those were. We heard that throwing stuff around in the locker room. People say that it could have been Chennedy Carter, and then she kind of disappeared. So there were things that were going on. And I've said repeatedly that if I were a GM or a coach, even, there's no way I would take her on my team. And I've also said I really want to like her. She's, everybody keeps saying she's so talented, she's so talented, and even now people are still saying, I can't believe that these people won't pick her up. Yes, she's got issues, but yes, she's a great player. Still not understanding that there's more to bringing somebody on your team than their talent. If that were the case, then somebody would have picked her up. But I think everybody had to say it's just not worth it. And to me, when you continually say, but she's such a great player and it's a shame and I don't agree with what they're doing, you don't get it. You don't get it. And if you have been a coach or even a teacher and you've had to deal with someone that requires you to constantly walk on eggshells and babysit, and you never quite know what they're going to do, then you just don't get it, because there are more important things than 17 and a half points per game. You're going to pick up 17 and a half points from somewhere. Somebody can give you 17 and a half, or somebody gives you 10 and somebody else gives you 7 and a half, or whatever the case may be. But you need peace. Yeah, it's like when you say, you know what, no matter what goes on out in the world, in my home, there's got to be peace. Well, teams feel the same way. In my locker room, there's got to be peace. And you got to understand that. Now, there are some people out there who are saying, well, this is probably good for Chennedy Carter. Well, I doubt that there was any team who made this decision because they wanted to do what was good for Chennedy Carter. This is not about them saying, I'm not going to pick Chennedy Carter because this is going to be good for her. I think they said, I'm not going to pick Chennedy Carter because this is good for us. We've got to stay focused. We've got to win games. We can't handle even the possibility. We don't want to handle what could come. And so it was not necessarily about what's good for her. It's about what's good for them. Having said that, though, this may be, and I hope it is, a defining moment in Kennedy's life. She may look back at this moment and say, that was the moment that everything changed for me. That was hard. I wanted to play in the WNBA. I can straight out ball, and yet nobody picked me. And that's what I needed. It hurt like, but it's what I needed. And at that moment, my life changed. Down the road, Chennedy Carter may be looking back at this moment herself and saying, this was the best thing for me because it caused me to make some changes or get some help or whatever the case may be. And I hope that that's the case. I hope, because I do wish her well. And like I said, if I were the one making a decision, if I were, a GM or a president or a coach, I wouldn't pick her now. Like I said, I would have to observe her for a while. And I figured somebody would give her a chance. Well, Mexico, that's where she'll be playing. And I'm sure she's going to do what Chennedy Carter knows she can do. But I do hope that this is a growing time for her and that she'll look back and say, I mean, how many of us have gone through things in our lives? It hurt so bad. It was traumatic. It was whatever. And yet we said it was what I needed. And I hope that that's the case for Chennedy Carter. And like I said, I have said I would have to wait and watch. I actually have said I would need to watch her on American soil and see how she does. But that's my commentary. It's not just about Caitlin Clark. She was kicked off of other teams. She had issue with Marina Mabry, whatever the issue was, and the sounds coming out of the Chicago Sky locker room and the whole thing, whatever it was, It was. And I think it was enough. I know it was enough for people to say absolutely not, because there's no way all the teams passed up on Chennedy Carter, knowing that she's the player she is, unless they had serious concerns and didn't want to deal with it. So while I wish her well, right decision all the way around. You got to be able to see that for real. What are your thoughts? Hey, also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, and I will catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.